heading into the office today, the day before Thanksgiving. Make sure my gate's closed. Yep, it is. And this morning I got a call, and I've had lots of calls like this during my career. And that is when a person calls me and they are in distress. And, as time goes by, I recognize the distress. Let's make sure that, hang on, we're going to go over here. Okay. So, as I was saying, I got a call this morning, and you learn to recognize these calls. And they're calls of distress. People are asking for help in different ways. The gentleman that called this morning, he was scared. He was on the run. He believed that people were trying to harm him. He believed people from his church were trying to harm him, from his neighborhood were trying to harm him. And you never say never, right? Because you never know. He said that he found my name on Quora, Quora, under gang stalking. And I was like, well, I've never even heard that term before, gang stalking. So while I'm on the phone with them, I look it up, and they say it's like a form of, I don't know, some form of terrorism, where the government or whatever makes you stress over things, where they follow you, they harass you, they cut off your bank account, they do things that would obviously interrupt one's life. Now, the odds of it being something like that are probably the kind of odds you would have if you were playing the lottery and trying to win, $100 million. I think it's obviously more likely that it's a sign of mental illness. And, you have to broach that subject quite delicately. I listened to what he said. I paid attention, spent probably, I don't know, 15 minutes or so on the phone with him. Listened to what he said, and he was telling different parts of the story. It's like, I'm on my golf cart and they're chasing me and they're trying to get to me. I saw police. I told police that these people were following me, that I felt scared, that the police shrugged them off. He said that the police said, hey, are you taking medication? But there was no follow-up. And he's like, look, I've never had a mental illness before. I don't think I have mental illness. But he had mentioned that he was on disability, that he used or Social Security, something like that. And he used money because he was trying to escape. He fled his home and he went to a hotel. And while he was at the hotel, he's like, hey, like they're even bringing their kids to follow me and scare me. And obviously when you hear something like that, but you don't know 100% because you never know 100%. But it's high likelihood that he's suffering from some sort of mental illness, psychotic breakdown, paranoia, those kinds of things. And sometimes, a little kindness goes a long way. He goes, I've called a bunch of people. I talked to the police. They didn't care. I just don't know what to do. I just need a direction. And I said, well, when you have a problem and you're not sure what the solution is, I gave an example of a car. And I said, if my car doesn't start, it could be the battery. The alternator could be shot. It could be a solenoid. I don't know. I guess I could be out of gas. And kind of like they do at the hospital, you target the most serious thing first, or depending on your philosophy of these things, maybe the simplest thing first, right? You don't spend the least money first. But I said a hospital always makes sure that your life's not in jeopardy, right? You're not at risk of dying. That's what a hospital does, right? Emergency situation, emergency care, and then you can follow up with your doctors if they discover something wrong. Sure that you're okay. I said, you didn't do anything to anybody, right? He's like, no. And I said, well, he's like, well, I'm scared. And could I be going crazy? And I go, well, that's a logical point. Could you be, right? You mentioned that you had traumatic brain injury. You mentioned that you had been in an accident years ago. You mentioned that you're on disability. Could your medicine be causing you to have delusions? Could your injury be getting worse? Could something be happening? How do you find out? So I said, it's a process of elimination. Why don't you consider, right? Because we don't know. Why don't you consider your worst fear first? Why don't you consider, are you having some sort of mental health issue? And why not go to a doctor? Because he said, well, I spent, $1,000 and I'm running from hotel to hotel to escape these people. And I said, why don't you see what mental health places there are, what counselors are in your area, call them, give them a brief explanation, or go there. Try to go to the place for free. If there's a mental health hospital, you can explain, and they'll probably take you. Try to go cheaper first. But if not, reach out to a counselor and say, this is what I'm experiencing. I don't know. I need help. I need to know, am I losing my mind, or are people really following me? And he said, you know what, Mr. Foley, thank you. You're the first person that's talked to me. I just felt blown off when I tried to explain what I was going through. But he's like, you're the first person. He's like, it makes sense to me. It's logical. I'm not offended. I will look up a mental health doctor, and I will seek out their assistance and ask them to analyze me and help me make a determination what's going on. Is there some kind of true threat? Am I having some sort of mental break? Am I experiencing some sort of paranoia? And whenever that is figured out, then we can figure out what is causing it, and we can work to fix it. And I say this, guys, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. And we, I always pray, and I say, thank you for my family. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my health. Thank you for um, a roof over my head, the ability to, drive a car that doesn't break down, whatever your thing is. But I'm also appreciative of people that I've encountered in my life, people that have taken some time out of their schedule to give me guidance when I was struggling with something. Could be sports, it could be work, it could be family issues, it could be just an abundance of things, right? It could be health issues. And don't you feel better when someone takes a few minutes to talk to you? It just, I said, I'd have to look at the call. I think I spent about 15 minutes, 17 minutes, I don't know, under 20 minutes with this gentleman. He was thankful, he was appreciative, and he said, you're the only person who's talked to me, and it sounds like you care, and I'm going to follow your recommendation. And I honestly, I feel like God's tool. Um, this gentleman called me, and I think that I've helped him. I hope I've helped him. I didn't hang up on him. I didn't say, there's no money in this. I don't do that. Click. I didn't do that. And over the years, during the course of my career as an attorney, I've gotten calls of people that were on the verge of suicide. I've had clients call me on the verge of suicide, total strangers, having nothing to do with criminal defense or personal injury or an injunction or negotiation of a contract, nothing that I've ever done. And they've just called. And I know that I've talked at least 2 people down from moments, minutes, within an hour of them harming themselves. And what do they say? If you can help one person, right? If you're a teacher, if you can reach one child, if you're an addiction counselor, if you can reach one person, your success. I know of at least two that I've talked down from suicide over the phone. And those calls were more than 15 minutes, folks. And there's no money in that. It's just being a good human being. So I'm not saying I'm a good human being. I have my sins, right? I have my flaws. But because it's Thanksgiving, it gives an opportunity to talk about things that we're thankful for or things that we can provide to other people, right? Because you may not always have the ability to help someone else over a fence. You may not always have the ability to talk someone down from suicide. You may not always have the opportunity to buy someone a meal, right? You may not have the opportunity to give somebody some gas money or give them a lift to work or give some clothes. You may not always have that opportunity. But while you have that opportunity, I'm telling you, you feel worthy. You feel thankful that God's given you that opportunity. And if you don't believe in God, then take the God part out. Just be happy that you're in a position that you can help someone else. And because there's going to be a day in your life, I promise you, folks, there's going to be a day in your life that you're going to need somebody. It could be sickness. I'm going to give you a quick story, right? Here's a quick story. A couple years ago, I'm rushing to Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late. And I got like a motion or a trial. I got something important. I got to be there, right? And I'm rushing. And as I'm driving down the turnpike, I say, oh my goodness, I have like 3 miles of gas. Luckily, I'm on the turnpike. The rest station comes up. And guess what happens? I pull over, pull up at the gas station. I'm looking, I'm patting. I can't find my wallet. I have, I don't know, 50 cents in change. I call my wife and I'm like, hey, she's like, I'm already at work. I don't know. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what? Like, I have to get to court. I have literally like 3 miles on the gas tank and I'm on the turnpike and I get to a station. I look over as I'm talking to my wife. I go, my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm in a suit and tie, right? I'm in my vehicle that says law office on it, right? And I see a guy and he probably overhears me. And I look at him, I go, excuse me, he goes, get the hell away from me. Like, you know? And I went, wow, right? And I didn't say anything to him. I went, okay, right? Because we probably all done that, someone begging or requesting something. And I was at a loss. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I walk into the store and the cashier, I said, excuse me, ma'am. I said, my name's Roger Foley. I can show you I didn't even have my driver's license. I said, I have a business card. I can give it to you. You can take a picture of me. I said, I'm in a situation. I'm on my way to the courthouse. I'm an attorney. I apparently misplaced my wallet. Is there any way my wife could call in a number? They don't do that. The lady says, I got you. And she gives me, I think, $10 or $15 worth of gas. And I say, ma'am, here's my car. She goes, I don't even need it. She's like, pass it on. Pass it on. I said, ma'am, no, Mr. Foley, I'm going to help you today. You help somebody else in your future. I don't think I'll ever forget that. I'll never forget her kindness in my stress, anxiety, and a dilemma. And she did that. I'll also never forget the guy that was like, dude, get away from me. Like, I'm in a suit and tie. And I'm like, excuse me, from 15 feet away. He's like, oh, get away from me. Like I'm going to rob him or something. I guess a lot of people, lawyer joke, right? A lot of people go, yeah, lawyers, they're the biggest robbers on earth. So maybe it's fitting. I don't know. But I'll never forget those 2 moments, right? People pass you away. When homeless people come up to me, when people who look like distress, I will listen for a moment. I will not always help them. That's the truth. I don't give money. I'll put gas in someone's car. I will buy someone a meal. I've bought shoes for people. Um, Acts of kindness, but I don't give. I won't just hand you $5 or a dollar or $10, or I just won't. Again, that's independent, individual, but I think it's important to be thankful for the opportunity to help others, because you may not always have it. You are going to be on that other end, and whether you believe in the man upstairs or you believe in karma, it's a message that I think we should all adhere to, listen to. Anyway, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. Have a great day. All right, see you.